we are, Season 5, Episode 17. This is a tough one. We got to do one, though. So, look, every Sunday, we sit back and we're like, Paul's that clock chime all the time? In fact, it does. We have it set on 5 minutes. All right. Every Sunday, we sit back and we try to decide, what's the cocktail? What are we going to do? What's it all about tonight? A little over a week ago, very, very dear friend, colleague, mentor, confidant, Todd Van Beck passed away. Unexpected, huge loss. And I said, when the time's right, we're going to raise a glass to him. The time is right now. It's tonight, and we're going to do it. We're going to share something about Todd. Todd, if you didn't know him, you didn't know. Well, I take that back. So we have a lot of death care friends on here. I know you know him. I have a lot of friends on here who aren't death care, but this man, he was the icon of death care. He knew more history. We can't do this out here. Let's go inside, because it's time to raise a glass to Mr. Todd Van Beck. Todd, come on. One more cocktail. Blue Monkey Quarantina. Only business, monkey business. Well, other stuff, but you get the idea. Here we go, folks. Tribute. Are we live?
We are live.
I never live. I can see the camera. All right, folks, here we are. Blue Monkey Quarantina.
How about Todd with us?
Oh, yeah, we got Todd. Thank you. Oh, here, hold on. I'll put him in the skewers.
Oh, perfect.
How's that?
You don't want him cockeyed though.
Oh, geez. Sorry, Todd.
There we go.
All right. We didn't rehearse. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. We never rehearsed. 8 minutes. Todd, you may have gotten 9, but you didn't get much more. But we got something for you. And I don't need a lot of time because, again, I've known Todd for many, many years. So where to begin? So everybody always starts off by telling you how they meet somebody when they're gone. And what's kind of funny about Todd is I don't remember the first time I met Todd, because the problem is Todd was such an icon that you knew him before you ever met him. Like, everybody knows Todd Van Beck that's in death care. So I knew him forever, and then I met him. And the time I actually met him, here's what I remember. Denver's giving a shout out to. Thanks, Denver. What I remember the first time of anything was the first time he sat in on one of my programs. Now, Todd Van Beck is probably one of the greatest speakers in death care out there. And if you're standing in front and you're doing a program and you see him about 2 rows back, holy cow. Todd, that's what I remember. And it's actually wore this shirt tonight because it was early on, and I'm not doing the story tonight, but one of the stories I talk about is my biggest problem is I have a heart. And I told that story, and it's far from serious. It starts off serious. Anyway, the point is this. When I got done with the program, Todd came up and he said, God, Paul, you had him in the palm of your hands, and my God, you just nailed it. And I'll never forget him saying those words to me. And over the years, he sent me letters. Again, for all the people out there that were friends with Todd's, he was so much more than a friend to everybody. He was such a confidant, a mentor, a colleague. So anyway, I wanted to do a cocktail for Todd tonight. Immediately people said, Paul, here's what he drank. I know what he drank too. Canadian Club. He liked his double of Canadian Club with some Sprite. And that's a fine drink. And I've had many drinks with Todd. Matter of fact, Shelby and I were reminiscing one time in Iowa. And Todd actually sat and had a martini with us. And he drank a martini too, especially when Shelby ordered them. And so anyway, so if you want to have a Canadian Club right now and raise a glass, go right ahead. You're allowed to have that while we go through. But I think there's more to honor Todd. There are so many facets to Todd, but I'm going to give you 2 that I'm going to focus on tonight. 1, history. my God, was he the historian. And not just of deathcare. The man knew so much. It was unbelievable. If you never got to sit and listen to him talk about Abraham Lincoln, the funeral of, it is unbelievable. It's out there. Go find it. You can listen. But he loved history. One of his favorite historical people that he also loved, Winston Churchill. We're rolling with that tonight. Because here's number 2 thing I know about Todd. Todd loved to have a drink. And if you haven't had a drink with Todd, well, I'm sorry. But that is something that is memorable for me, having the stories and the drinks. But, so tonight, my way of honoring and to share is I'm going to take the 2 things that I remember about, 2 of the things I remember about Todd. His love for a drink, his love for Winston Churchill, and I'm going to give you his cocktail in honor. Now, to start off with this Churchill cocktail, I can't just give you the cocktail, I got to give you the history. But if I try to give the history of Winston Churchill right now, compared to what Todd knew, it'd be an embarrassment. I can't do that. So I focus on what I know and what I can do. And that is, I'm going to give you some cocktail drinking history of Winston Churchill that I know Todd would have admired and been very proud of. So a lot of people don't know this, but Winston Churchill was a hella drinker. I mean, the man did well. Now, he didn't start off like that. Matter of fact, the story goes that he didn't actually really have a fondness for drinking until he was in the South African War. And during the South African War, he started drinking whiskey. And he said it was because the water wasn't fit to drink. So you had to pour whiskey in it to be able to actually drink it. And he ended up becoming a great lover of Scotch. And that was one of his go-to drinks. A matter of fact, and keep this in mind, it was Scotch. That was his preferred drink. Nothing else. And as a matter of fact, one of the stories was that he was on a train with President Harry Truman. And as they're on the train, they're on the train, it's moving. Harry Truman offers him some bourbon, and Winston Churchill says, do you have anything else? He says, no, we just have bourbon. He makes him stop the train. He gets off the train, sends somebody to get a bottle of Scotch, brings it back on the train, and they take off again. Mm-hmm. The man loved his Scotch. Now, while he loved Scotch, his actual go-to drink, ready for this one, Shelb? You'll appreciate this. Champagne.
Love a guy who loves bubbles.
He loved his bubbles. He had champagne every lunch and every dinner. Now let me be clear about this. He didn't have like a glass of champagne every day for lunch and every night for dinner. He had a bottle. He drank 1 bottle of champagne every lunch and 1 bottle of champagne every night. All the time. They estimate that he drank in his lifetime over 42,000 bottles of champagne. That's rocking.
How many?
42,000 bottles of champagne. He said it was life's essential and that you had to enjoy life, and this was one of the essentials of life. Champagne every day. 2 bottles, at least. Now, he also did say that early on that he never drank before lunch. He changed that as he got older, and he changed it to he wouldn't drink before breakfast. And but he was known to actually start at breakfast. And one of his other drinks that he created, it was called Churchill's mouthwash. Now, that's not our cocktail tonight, but you need to know what it is. So he would have mouthwash, and he would carry it with him all the time. Basically, imagine this. They would pour just enough Scotch on the bottom to cover the bottom, and then he would top it off with soda. And then he would carry those around all day, and that was called his mouthwash. And he would drink all day long. That was his little side drink. He drank port. He drank brandy. He loves his drink. So now you know Winston Churchill, the man, could drink. Now, here's what's funny. He wasn't really a cocktail guy. However, there was a cocktail made for Churchill called the Churchill cocktail. That's what we're going to make tonight. That's the cocktail in honor of Todd. And what's great about this drink, this cocktail was made in honor of Churchill. By who? More history. We got to go to Joe Gilmore. So Joe Gilmore was one of the greatest bartenders at the American Bar in London. More history. American Bar in London, been around a long time. Like 1893 it opened. So Joe Gilmore.
We've talked about that bar before.
It's fantastic, right? It's the American Bar. A lot of great cocktails out of there. The Savoy cocktail book is based on all the drinks from the American Bar. Pause. So here's what's great. Joe Gilmore, he was like the celebrity, the bartender to the celebrities. He was serving to Frank Sinatra. He was serving to
Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. Papa. He served the Papa.
Sounds like those two would be like good to drink together.
Oh my God. I guarantee you there was a night, picture this, I guarantee you there was a night at the American Bar that Ernest Hemingway was sitting by Winston Churchill and they were having drinks. I guarantee that happened.
I wonder if either one could drink the under end of the table.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be
Something to watch.
Yeah. So anyway, Joe Gilmore, 1939, he was very fond of Churchill and loved his fondness for Scotch. So he created this cocktail for Churchill, and it lives on today. And we're going to make it because I think it would have been a fantastic drink. I wish I would have had the time, and we'll come back to this. I wish I would have had the time and the thought to actually made this drink and shared it with Todd earlier. But we'll have to do it now, and we'll have to take this as a lesson in life. But anyway, coupe glasses, ice, cool them down. Critical step in a drink. Ice in a glass. All right, we're coming in. It's all about the Scotch. Any Scotch will do. Actually, if you were going to pick a Scotch and you wanted the Scotch that Winston Churchill drank, you would probably go with a Johnny Walker Red. That was his choice go-to. I didn't have it in the house. I don't need another bottle of Scotch. I have enough Scotch. So we're going to go with a little Glenlivet. And you're going 1.5 ounces. One for me. One for Shelby. All right, so you get your Scotch. Then, going to turn around, and you're going to go with some Cointreau. Triple sec will work fine. Cointreau is just a little nicer mix, a little smoother. 1/2 ounce. 1 ounce total for 2. Then we're going to come in with, oh my gosh, all this work. Limes. Forgot limes. No, I'll go get them, but you have to talk to everybody now. Hold on, folks. Limes.
I don't know that I do have to. You can be faster than that. Please pause. He's already back. That was fantastic.
Limes. Thank God we don't do this show off site, right? Vermouth, sweet vermouth, 1/2 ounce. 1 ounce total.
I can't even imagine what that's going to taste like.
So really it's some people call it a Winston Manhattan. Because basically whiskey, sweet vermouth. But here's where it gets interesting. We're going to add lime juice. 1/2 ounce. 1 ounce total. Whoop. Let's see if we get an ounce out of that. Oh. All right, there it is. Now, because it is juice in there, we got to shake. Nice and cold. That's how Winston liked it.
That's how he likes it too.
Now it gets easy. Coupes, empty. Turn around. Strainer. Straining.
Well, maybe not every 5 minutes, but 15.
Every 15. At least we know where we are. Garnish. Your favorite. The Luxardo.
Island Sierra is on the other side of the bar.
Are you asking?
Yeah.
Alright, let's
You can see her shadow.
oh, what are we going to
You want to use
use?
swords?
Huh?
Swords?
It might. Here we go. Lots of stuff here, folks. Lots of stuff. Work with me here, people. We're going to come across with this. Folks, there it is. That is your Churchill quarantine cocktail. However, I think Churchill would have probably enjoyed a little emergency. He could have used this. That would have made that water tolerable in the South African War in like 1899 or so. We'll just do a little that and that. Emergency! South African War. Should have been there. All right. Now, first we try it. Oh, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
You're going to love it. Shelby's not a Scotch fan.
Nor am I a Sweet Vermouth fan.
Yeah, together, that lime
The only
juice.
thing I got going for me is the lime and the Cointreau.
I'm going to tell you what, this is going to be, it's going to be a new favorite.
All right.
Now, I don't know wherever we'll go and be able to find this. So, let me come around here because if you want to sip first, but we're going to.
It's funny, there's a little bit of the pink of the maraschino
Yeah.
at the bottom. It looks like a nipple.
There you go. Well, the coupe glass is rumored to be molded off of Marie Antoinette's breast. So, more history. Cheers, right here.
It's like a very irritated one.
Can we...
Yes. Oh, first. Okay, I don't get to taste it first. I'm just gonna.
No, go ahead. I'll let you taste it first.
Nope.
All right, we're
Cheers.
going in cold. Here it is. Cheers. Right here, folks. If you're out there, raise up a glass. Todd Van Beck. Love you. Miss you. Really going to miss you for everything you've done. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's got a Papa Daiquiri kind of twist to it.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's not bad. Mm-mm. It's a good little drink. Mm-hmm. The Churchill. Right there.
Yeah, it tastes like a Hemingway Daiquiri.
Well, I mean, Joe, the bartender, obviously knew what he was doing. I mean, he's serving up the greats. So, this probably would have been a great one, too, for Papa as well. Because he would not have been, because he doesn't like the sugar.
Yeah, because he had the sugars.
He did have the sugars. So, but anyway, so I'm going to leave you with one last thing. As I was going through all this, and I was looking through some of my things, and those of you that know, if you've ever gotten the emails from Todd Van Beck, it wasn't Todd Van Beck, it was TVB. A lot of messages, TVB. That's what it was. So, TVB, those initials, it made me think of also Churchill and a maxim, a little statement saying that he used to throw out. And one of those was KBO. That was a Churchill maxim, and it meant keep buggering on. That was, by the way, not a polite thing to say. But he said it, and it was meant to go forth, keep fighting, keep the spirit, charge on. And I think it's fitting for Todd and for all of us, because I think in life, especially in tragedies and things like this, sometimes we forget. And I think most people will always tell you, you have to KBO, keep buggering on, keep fighting, keep moving forward, keep going to the next day. Churchill, he started every day by saying KBO. he ended every phone conversation with people by telling them, KBO, keep buggering on. So, for Todd, for everybody out there, Shelby, one more. I'll leave you with this. KBO.
KBO.
Keep buggering on, people. We got this. Cheers. Love you. KBO. We'll see you next week. Love you all.